Ladies and gentlemen, ATDF Everything in That Shelf presentation. You're now rocking with TDF Everything. Spoiled Rotten.
Spoiler alert.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Spoiled Rotten.
Yo!
I've put my mic in the wrong place. This is just going to be a rough episode for me. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Ben.
It's Spoiled Rotten, where we talk about comic book movie news or whatever popular movie type stuff we want to talk about, and TV show stuff.
It's basically us talking,
Yeah.
and you coming along for the ride. And that ride is featured on That Shelf. We got it right this time.
Yep. Sorry about
So
getting it
thank
wrong
you
last
for
time.
our home, That Shelf. We're apologizing. Don't pull us off your
Yeah, don't
podcast
pull us off the shelf.
But anyways, today we've got a little bit of stuff to do. A long overdue episode of Iron Fist Season 2, and of course there's some hilarity behind that. We've got some news behind that. We're also going to dive into some more of our speculative rumors and theories and all that kind of fun jazz. But yeah, primarily today we're going to talk about Iron Fist Season 2.
Okay, so I guess the most interesting thing to talk about is Birds of Prey.
Yep.
So there was confirmed casting. Journey Smollett-Bell will play Black Canary, which obviously people are mad about because she's black.
Because she's black, yeah.
But I am a big fan of Journey Smollett-Bell. If you went back to my old site, tdfeverything.tumblr.com, I pretty much ended every blog post with an ode to Journey Smollett-Bell.
You did love her.
Which was great. What a funny thing I did.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that she's in this. I'm also a big fan of Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who was just in the latest season of Fargo, and also 13 Clover Lane, or whatever the name of that movie was.
Correct.
Which I pretty much I did like.
Yep.
When she's stuck with John Goodman.
I did like that movie a lot.
She is Huntress. Obviously Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. Almost forgot
Spoilers.
that. And a blast from the past, Rosie Perez is
What?
Renee Montoya, which is pretty good. That's good
like
cast,
that.
considering what she's doing. So the breakdown is Black Canary will be portrayed as a singer who fights crime at night.
Excellent.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead as the Huntress actually has a pretty interesting character arc of being like the hitman for Black Mask until she finds out that Black Mask actually killed her family.
Right.
So she's hunting Black Mask down.
I like that a lot.
And Renee Montoya is just straight up hunting down Black Canary and the Huntress because of the bodies they're leaving behind them on their path to justice. And Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, I just need to say the character name, as Harley Quinn has been trying to get over Joker, and I guess the four of them take in Cassandra Cain, who was she was taken in by Black Mask to be like the new hitman, that they take her. And so most of the movie, I mean, at this point, who knows what it'll end up, but they're saying the synopsis is early on in the movie, they get her back from Black Mask, and then most of the movie is them evading Black Mask's men, trying to come for them and trying to come for Cassandra Cain.
Right.
So that's Birds of Prey. Well, it sounds interesting. I'll watch it. It's just, I mean,
Sounds good.
Yeah. It's
Like, I'm not opposed
why not?
to it.
I like all the characters involved.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not really getting why people are hating on the Black Canary being actually black as opposed
Because
to
they're like,
a
she's
white
blonde, and it's like,
But who cares?
but it's almost always a wig, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I'm just, like, that's the thing too. Even when the actress on the CW show, like, no, now she's White Canary, but when she was like Black Canary before she went White Canary, and this is not Laurel, this is her sister.
Yeah, her sister.
She wore a wig and she was blonde.
Yeah.
So you're just like, what?
And also,
Okay.
the woman who's playing Black Canary now is a black person, or she's part black.
Yeah.
Just like Journey Smollett-Bell.
Yeah.
So
So I'm like, who cares?
you should just get used to it, because
Yeah,
it's fine.
Just get over it. Like,
Yeah.
just stop it. It doesn't always have to be white people, and it doesn't matter. It's not like it's detrimental to the backstory of the character. It's just like, make it a good actress, make it a good story. Finally for DC, which I know is asking a lot, but there might be hope.
Yeah.
There
Well,
might
I
be
mean,
hope.
they've got a good track record for female-led, female-directed movies.
That
in
is
Wonder
true.
Woman. So
One for
this
one.
is female-led and female-directed.
We'll see
so
what 1984 reveals. to
yeah.
us.
So I mean, yeah, I'm good with that. But I guess what that dovetails into is the fact that James Gunn is now writing Suicide Squad 2 and possibly
directing.
They won't commit to that.
Yeah, most likely directing though. Like
we'll see. I mean, I can't imagine he writes it and doesn't direct it.
Yeah,
but it seems like Gavin O'Connor was kind of frustrated. I can't say for sure that what happened was that they were just like, oh, we just like this script. But it seems like once that got greenlit instead of Suicide Squad 2, he was just like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, because essentially,
this is too frustrating.
Like, essentially it was the same story that they were following.
Yeah, I mean, so that if it is the same story, it makes me feel like that we were wrong when we thought it was going to be this whole, like, they have to go up against a weapon of mass destruction, which was Black Adam. Because I can see a Suicide Squad where they try to protect someone and someone's coming for them. That would be an interesting take on it.
Totally.
But yeah, he's out and James Gunn is in. Obviously, people have strong opinions. I don't know yet because this is DC, so I feel
a
like
fan of James Gunn coming in to do this.
I wanted Suicide Squad to be the Guardians of the Galaxy of DC, so
and
it makes sense that way. But I also don't know if this will end up happening. I feel like it's DC. A lot of things get announced, and then who knows? Until you see a trailer, you can't really be.
Yeah,
you can't really be like, oh, this is for sure.
Even
happening.
when it's like it's in production, and they're like.
Yeah, that's why I said trailer.
I'm seeing set photos. I'm like, I still don't believe it.
Yeah. If you listen to our episode, I don't remember which one it is, where we talked about the initial firing of James Gunn. I'm very conflicted on it. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to get back into that. But if we were to remove him from his personal life, it seems like it would be a good fit. Mm-hmm. It does seem like he will be recasting. Yeah. So it just doesn't seem like... Yeah. I mean, it looks like DC is slowly showing us they're just going to be doing standalone stuff, which is fine. Doesn't matter.
I believe that's what they should be doing because honestly, if the central wing of there's no Kevin Feige communicating to everyone, it's like, hey, we're going to do this on this. Well,
movie. They do have that
but they're not doing a good enough job.
Yeah, but it takes a while. Kevin Feige got to start from scratch, whereas this guy has to maneuver like whatever 5-year plan they had.
True.
So I'm not willing to I wish I remembered his name, but the person who's come in as the Kevin Feige, I do agree that it's only been a year of him doing it, and it would take a while to because especially if you come into a situation well, we have this movie, this movie, this movie.
Yep.
I think it takes some time to be able to show what your vision is because you have to maneuver all these contracts that have been signed and everything like that. So we'll see what happens with DC. I just think, we'll see if this actually comes to fruition.
Yeah,
is more when I say I'll give more opinions when I feel like it's for sure that this movie is happening in this incarnation. Also, The Flash got pushed back again.
Yes, it did.
I don't even think they know who the director is. At one point, it was the guys who did Game Night and wrote Spider-Man not Far From Home, but Homecoming. But I don't know if they're still involved, and it's never been mentioned as directors or writers. It's always writer or. So I'm like, oh, so they just have someone new.
It's one or the other. And it's just it's basically to me, it's like, okay, everyone just keep pitching your ideas for Flash.
Yeah,
and hopefully someone's gonna pitch it so that we could be like, yeah, let's do that.
Well, Ezra Miller
screw it up in post-production with editing and all that kind of nonsense.
Well, Ezra Miller isn't even available right now. Because spoilers alert, he's filming Fantastic Beasts 3.
Yep.
So he doesn't die in this one either.
He's going to be associated with that franchise for next. There's 2 more movies after 3. There's a 5.
I thought they were hoping for 7 again, but for sure 5.
I think there's 5 stories. Yeah, you're right, 5 to 7. But I'm pretty which means we'll most likely go to 7.
Yeah, I feel like there's no way this will.
It's not gonna.
I don't think this will fizzle out, but I think
because they're
people love Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, I definitely love it.
And if you're Warner Brothers, you need that sure thing franchise to keep going.
It's true.
But so Ezra Miller. So this one I can't really put on oh man, they don't know what they're doing. Other than who knows who's actually in charge on this one. But at the very least, their star isn't available. So well, that's all the DC stuff I have. Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Been pushed back. Production will start in 2021.
Yeah, so the next movie after Avengers 4, well, it always has been, but like there was like Guardians on the slate too, even though they haven't really officially released Phase 4 slate.
Well, they were supposed to start filming like months ago.
Yeah, they were.
Because it was supposed to come out like
So
2020.
Spider-Man is the one that's going to be, Far From Home is the first one that's going to follow Avengers 4.
Yeah.
Looking forward
So
to that.
I am looking forward to Far From Home. I didn't want to talk about all the like set picture stuff. Although I will say I did like the look of Mysterio, but I feel like when we do that, we're just like,
See, the
hey,
thing
you
is-
have to look up the picture.
Yeah.
We don't have. We're not
I
an
didn't see a
visual.
Mysterio look yet. I haven't.
I liked it.
Yeah?
He basically looks like green and purple Thor. Like it's like, so he doesn't have the globe around his head, but like
I'm pretty sure that's going to be added in after the fact.
Yeah. And I also, now that I'm back to reading comics, I read a good take on Mysterio that I like, because we always talk about how I don't like trickery, but the way the comic, I read Spider-Man, which is when the universes collide and Peter Parker Spider-Man meets Miles Morales Spider-Man, and they used Mysterio the way DC used Scarecrow, so he's more like just showing you what you're afraid of. And I'm like, see, I would work. I think that would be cool, especially if Mysterio is like giving Spider-Man like Avengers 3 flashbacks and scaring him and stuff.
Okay,
I could be like, yeah, that would be good. Like,
that would be good. Actually,
it doesn't need to be like all this like fake stuff. Like I would be down if they used him more like a Scarecrow type character.
It does look like the Thor character.
Yeah,
like how it fit. Yeah, I'm down. That's actually pretty cool. Like more psychological.
Yeah,
because
I'm down with that.
Especially now that Peter's spider sense is going to go crazy. Like that was a thing. He was always like, "Oh, you're tricking me," but my spider sense is not going off, so nothing's actually, afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny. The costume. How do you feel about it? Black and
Which
red.
one? Oh, the black and red. Because there's the other one that looks like Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, the noir one. Maybe that's a stealth suit or whatever.
It's got the Shield logo on it,
Yeah.
so it looks like he's working for Shield in this.
Well, I'm
movie.
pretty sure Tony Stark is going to move to like Shield.
Well, no,
director.
he's working with Nick Fury.
Yeah,
He's on a boat with him and stuff.
nice.
So yeah, I think he's very much in Shield on this. I guess Shield is back after the snap.
I
Who
think
knows?
so. Because they must restore order.
Yeah.
Or like Captain Marvel is like, I'm not staying here without my pal Nick Fury.
So yeah, I'm fine with both suits. I don't have. I mean, I'm not a real fan of like, oh, they switch up suits all the time, but I didn't think I would be a fan of the Iron Spider suit, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be a fan of him basically having a Tony Stark type Iron Man suit, but that was fine. So I'm not going to have any strong opinions until I see the movie.
I just don't know what's the point, the justification, because the first Tony Stark suit, it's the Stark enhanced suit, was just so powerful already. It did so much shit, and he didn't even like get to use it like properly. He was still stuck on training wheels mode.
I just feel like it must be like he loses the suit and Shield gives him new suits.
Right.
I don't think it'll be that involved.
Yeah, there must be upgrades though. I mean, like that's a Tony Stark thing to do.
I think Tony Stark will be dead by this point.
Nah. And that's another thing. Apparently, the Captain America tweet, Chris Evans was like, "Yeah, I'm. That's not confirmation that he dies, guys. I would have tweeted that either way." I'm like, "No, you wouldn't.
You
wouldn't.
would. People do that all the time."
But like to say,
wait, I didn't say anything last episode when you were like, "He's dead." I just like him saying I'm emotional means nothing. Like people do that all the time.
When you
after
say this character for the past X years. When you put like a
but like
number
how
on
many other than like
it's weird.
Other than Hugh Jackman, not a lot of actors have played these kinds of roles for this period of time.
It's true.
So like this is equivalent to being like when you hear like, oh, that 70s show cast was really emotional when they read the last script, and like if Twitter was a thing back then, they probably would have been tweeting all the reactions of like, I can't believe I'm saying. It doesn't mean all those characters die. It just means they're done with that character. They're saying goodbye. So I never saw that as confirmation that he's dead so much as he's done playing this character.
I was one of those people that thought he was.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not dead. I just that tweet to me just would have come anyway, like he said. I don't even think he needed to say anything. I feel like I'm sure Disney told him to say something, but like in terms of being like, no, it doesn't mean I'm dead. I'm just saying like that tweet would have come anyway. Like he's been doing it since basically 2009.
True.
that's a big part of your life, especially if you actually grow to like the character. And not a lot of actors get to be a part of. Like, again, Logan's a bad example because Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman died.
Yeah.
But like, they would say, "Oh, this is sad," regardless if they knew that like they've been doing it since 2000 till 2017, and they're saying goodbye for now or whatever. Like, either way, they're taking a break.
Don't worry, he may or may not be back.
Yeah, I mean, what is he supposed to say? Like, I would imagine it's a no-win situation. That's nice of him. Let's talk about Morbius. More Jared Leto stuff.
Jared Leto's coming back.
He's going to be Morbius. It's starting like in really January or something. It's soon enough.
Very soon. A character nobody really cares about. But apparently there's because like, Venom made a lot of money.
Like,
so
I don't care about it.
Let's just do this and like expand the rogues gallery.
But
I don't care about
again, like, Venom isn't a rogue in this situation.
He's not a rogue either.
So I don't know what their plan is.
Yeah, it's just.
Let me back up. They don't need this to all connect. I know they want it to all connect, but they could just keep making movies.
Yep.
With Spider-Man. I mean, historically, I don't think Kraven is ever considered an anti-hero. I'm pretty sure he's just a villain. Whereas Morbius and Venom can be they can be the heroes.
Yeah, I mean,
so like it
Morbius,
makes sense.
I don't even know if I can consider him a villain. And it's just because I'm like, dude, you need to eat to survive. You need plasma. That's your thing.
Yeah,
and like you haven't figured out a way.
I think it's more. I guess they consider it anti-hero when you kill and you don't feel any like way about. I don't know.
Oh, he feels guilty about it.
No, but
and I'm
like,
referencing the '90s.
No, I'm saying like if he was if he thought someone was a bad person, he wouldn't feel bad about killing them.
Oh yeah.
He feels bad about killing people to eat. Yes.
Yeah. So that's like the ends justifying the means.
Yeah,
like
I think that
the whole
whereas like
scene with Venom is like, oh, like we can only kill bad people.
Yeah, I guess that makes him an anti-hero. But honestly, he's just a good person.
Like, whatever. Yeah.
The point is, Morbius is coming. Good for that. I hope it's good. Yep. I don't really.
We'll watch it.
Yeah, that's
we'll watch it. And we'll let
not
you know
much
whether
enthusiasm.
It's good or bad, but
what if that first
trailer
is great? What if the first trailer is great?
I'm still like, no. After the suicide incident, I'm just like, oh, a trailer can be as great as it possibly can be. And I'm not going to be excited about it until I'm actually sitting my ass down. And midway through the movie, I'm like, I'm actually not thinking about anything else. I'm actually watching this movie. That's when I'll be like, yeah. You guys and your trickery, your smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, they are trying to trick us into giving them our money. Kraven is another thing that's happening. The only reason I'm bringing it up is
really
because
excited for that.
The writer of the movie, again, who knows what will happen when the movie actually comes out. He said that it will feature Spider-Man or face-to-face with Spider-Man.
That's a bold word.
So that makes sense to me because.
So is that coming from the Sony side of things or the MCU side?
That's not MCU.
That's
100% because we didn't talk about this. We'll talk about it after. But Ryan Coogler wanted Kraven the Hunter in Black Panther, and they were like, "That's actually a Spider-Man character we can't use." So this is 100% Sony.
Ryan Coogler would that would be amazing.
I'm sure he would just use it to like show off like the Black Panther skills or something, like catch.
Yeah,
like maybe he would have been the one heading the stuff at the beginning of the movie or whatever. But like,
I don't think he's a main villain.
He wouldn't be a
main villain.
Or even if you showed like T'Chaka facing off against, Kraven,
because it would just be like if you did Kraven in a Black Panther movie, you're just replacing Spider-Man with Black Panther at that point.
Yeah. No, I think it would just be a scene. But he was told unequivocally, we can't use Kraven.
Cool. That's another thing too. Coogler's on.
Yeah,
for
that's
Black
what I was
going
to say. He's back.
I'm really excited for that.
He has not done a sequel yet, so my fear is that like you get in there.
Is he
doing
doing Creed 2? Or?
No, he did not.
He's not doing Creed 2, right? Yeah. Okay.
No. So
Creed 2 does look amazing.
Yeah, I'm fine with Creed 2 not being done by him if it means we got Black Panther. But I guess that is my worry. Is like, but it took this long for him to commit, so hopefully this means he has a plan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got a good idea to actually commit, because I don't think he's the kind of guy that would be like, no, I'm just going to do this because of the paycheck. I feel like
because he's got a lot. It seemed like he didn't really have a problem. Like, fine, do Creed 2 without me.
Exactly.
Because I don't want to rush that.
Yeah.
So if he's got a plan now, good. It will take a while, so I don't think there's any like set date. But if he is committed to it, then I'm excited about that.
Yep.
That is all of that. we really said a lot.
We did.
But just before we started recording, Luke Cage was canceled on Netflix.
Yeah.
That sucks. I really like that show, and I like that world that they built.
Yeah. I enjoyed it too. It dragged on a little bit. It was hard for me to get into the second season. I now when I watch it like again, when I start to rewatch some of the episodes, I'm like, this is a lot better than I thought it was. Which was
I think it's a good show to sit with. Like I watched the first season like I think 3 times.
right.
I just enjoy revisiting it, and I like all the characters. And I think second season did a good job of fixing the problem of Luke Cage being the least interesting
I agree.
character.
Totally, I agree with that.
But it's canceled. Probably. I don't think many people are watching any of these Marvel shows.
I feel like Daredevil and Punisher gets a lot of viewership. I think Jessica Jones.
Well,
is
we don't know
probably
about the
getting
second.
axed.
We don't know what will happen with the second season of Punisher.
Because did they renew Jessica Jones for season 3?
Yes, it is getting a
did.
season 3.
So that
But that all happened before these new ruthless cuts.
yeah, and apparently Daredevil got renewed for season 4 as well.
Yes, and I've only seen one episode of Daredevil season 3,
Yeah.
but I really liked it.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this season because it just looks very, very promising. It's one of the most interesting storylines for Daredevil, which is that Wilson Fisk essentially figures out who Daredevil is and slowly dismantles his life.
Yeah, although he's really at the bottom at the beginning of this.
Oh yeah,
But the nun is amazing. Is it his mom? I don't know. They're really playing coy with who she is. But Sister Maggie is amazing. Like I did not think I could like a character this much just off of like 2 or 3 lines. Like she talks a lot, but like with after like her third line, I was like, oh, I just like this character. This is amazing. I won't ruin it for you, but like she's just a really good character. And as much as I'm not that excited about watching a blind man get beat to shit all the time,
I'm not loving that.
I do appreciate that he's got someone in his corner kind of pushing him.
Yeah. So we will be reviewing that for you all
Next time we
next
talk
week.
to you. And Iron Fist got canceled, which I guess
Which is
puts us in a good place to just start talking about Iron Fist now.
Yeah.
But I think it's weird because I started watching it in earnest after I heard that it got canceled, so it put an unfair thing on it of they probably thought they were going to get like 5 seasons.
And so for me, my viewing of this was very broken up.
To be fair, we are starting the spoilers for Iron Fist now.
Yeah, totally.
Just in case anyone was wondering.
So
we are starting.
like, my discussion about Iron Fist is going to be very broken because I remember the first 4 episodes being watched. Like marathon, and then I'm like, okay, just put this down. I wasn't getting into it or anything like that. And then the next 6 episodes, I'd pick up here and there.
So happy that it was only 10 episodes.
I know,
good for them.
So when I watched it, I was like, like it got to the point where I was like on episode 8. I'm like, you know what? I've got some stuff to grind on Destiny. I'm just gonna get some like tokens over here and everything like that. I'm just gonna like kill things while I'm watching this. So I started half-ass watching it because like none of the characters are pulling me in. It's the same kind of nonsense from last season. The most interesting character to me was Ward this season.
Yeah, no, he was the most interesting character last time too.
Yeah,
like those siblings just need to be in a different show.
Yeah, they just need to do their own thing. And I'm like, you guys
not
are the
related
most
to Marvel.
interesting thing.
It's just an interesting family dynamics, like drama type thing.
Joy and Ward were like, it was fun to watch them. It wasn't fun to watch season 1 of the father, like Harold. I'm like, no, you're just weird.
No, he was a weirdo. But what I'm saying is those siblings are the best characters, which is a weird thing to do in a show
really
with
weird.
a guy who can fight a dragon and do kung fu. And the only interesting part about the show is when these 2 siblings do their boardroom dealings.
Yeah, literally everything else about the show sucked to me. It was like, okay, the fight choreography got better. That's not hard though because it was.
Did it get better? I don't think it got better.
It got better.
To me, I was just like, this is the same.
It was bottom tier when season 1 was released. I was like, what the hell is this? Why you?
He wasn't good, but I feel like the choreography stayed the same. It's just maybe he was better at doing the choreography they gave him.
Maybe.
I don't think that it was like
picked better
better.
angles or something
Yeah,
like
like I don't think the actual choreography was better. But I didn't think the actual choreography was bad last season. I just think he was bad at executing.
It's true.
And maybe they had better people shooting it because they knew they needed to cut. Because for some reason they were like, just don't put him in a mask, whatever you do.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Why? You could have.
It doesn't matter now. It's
put him in a
canceled,
mask,
and I'd love to say that it's because they refused to actually embrace the fact they were doing an Iron Fist show.
Yeah.
So many people complained about, like, I guess I'm the only one that complains about why can't they just be in their suits so that you know that it's this comic book show. Otherwise, just do a different show. Like, it's Netflix. No, everyone would watch if you were like, hey, like, we got 2 actors from Game of Thrones to do, like, this show about this guy who kind of knows Kung Fu.
Look, I completely agree with you in this regard, in the sense where he's like, listen, I'm going to talk about Kunlun all the time. I'm going to do
We'll never see it.
Yeah, you never see it. I'm going to talk about all these things and, like, live this way and talk about chi and all that kind of stuff and live basically the life that I was living in Kunlun in Manhattan, but I'm also not going to dress that way because I acknowledge that is ridiculous and over the top, but you're going to fight crime unmasked. And it's a stupid concept.
It was so weird.
It's so dumb to me. I'm like, what
in the
hell?
show, it makes sense for him to cover his face, and it just for a practical ease of filming, it makes sense for him to have the mask. So I don't know why they were like, don't put him in a mask.
Yeah. I don't get that.
It makes no sense.
I'm like, who cares? And so here's the thing. One thing I really, really realized of the reason why I don't like Finn Jones or the character Danny Rand in this is because Finn Jones, I don't know if he knows this or not, but is imitating like a 14-year-old Asian kid.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah,
and, like, I picked up on that, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is how all my Asian friends, like, when we were in 14-year-old high school, they used to act. It was so weird." And I'm
interesting.
Like, "This is weird. I don't like this." I think it's like, because at that point, I'm just like, "Are you making fun of a race, or what?" Or do you
see, this is the thing. I just knew I didn't like him.
I just didn't like it, and I was just like, I don't know exactly why. I don't care to take up that much mental energy to actually think about the reason why I don't like Finn Jones as Danny Rand or Danny Rand's character. But I'm just like, it's because you're still a 14-year-old boy, which makes no sense because we're talking about a 14-year-old Asian boy from Hong Kong, which is not what Kunlun's all about.
No.
You don't get that kind of brattiness. You're supposed to be disciplined. You're supposed to be like
Davos.
Yeah, you're supposed to be like Davos, but you're not. You're just like the fucking innocent version of a child, like an Asian child.
I'm trying to think about it. It makes sense that Davos is, because it seems like if his parents were like in charge, like it looked like his parents were like overseeing their fight. That means like, even if he wasn't born in Kunlun, he would just have those sensibilities because there's no way those parents would. But like, for Danny to be so far off seems weird, considering it seems like all of his formative years were spent in Kunlun.
Exactly. But also the thing is, like, not only were his formative years spent there, but it's just like, how do you go from being a crash landed person that got saved, sure, whatever, to all the way to Iron Fist without learning discipline, restraint, control, foresight, objectivity, all that kind of stuff? How do you avoid all those lessons and get the best to be the best at martial arts? At that point, it ends up being the whole, like, white people being better at kung fu than Chinese people.
This is why I always said, even if you don't trust an Asian person to lead your show, at least have it be that he's biracial with like white and Asian, and that way you could just do deeper things with the character and not have to focus so much on the fighting that he can't do. I mean,
because the thing is, I didn't want to focus about identity politics in this. I really didn't. I just want to be like, cool, it's got Asians in it, whatever. That's normal for me. But then to look at it and be like, oh, now the identity politics are pulling up in the sense where I'm like, you're pretending to be an 14-year-old Asian boy from Hong Kong, which is super weird. Then none of the cultural things exist, but yet you recite them all the time. What the hell is going on?
No, it's a problem because he's still like problem. He's either I guess my main takeaway from season 2 is it has all the problems of season 1.
Yes, it
in
does.
terms of like, you don't understand why he's such an idiot.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, he needs to be with Luke Cage, but since it's canceled, I guess that'll never happen again. But
wait, I'll talk about that later.
No, yeah, everyone thinks Heroes Fire. I just think they're done with it.
I think Heroes Fire is going to happen.
But like, I had all the same frustrations of like, I don't care about him.
Yep.
And it's not like Luke Cage where everyone else is just interesting. It's like you've got two characters that are interesting. And it was kind of, I don't remember what. Yeah, I think it was the Ant-Man and Wasp problem where it's like, there's all these characters, which I'm fine with, but like none of it is like really feeding into a greater idea. Like, they're just kind of tangentially connected just because they're in the same area. But like, I'm not really sure what Joy's thing is. She's like working with Davos, but like, yeah, she wanted to get back at Danny, but it seemed like she had some other stuff going on that I was like, I don't know.
She wanted to establish her own company, but wanted to like screw over Rand in order to do it, or like something.
Which
like
she did.
Which she
and,
did, and
she
I'm just
broke
like,
him. And,
okay, but
which works for Davos.
Don't understand why that was happening.
And then you've got
time.
Ward, who's like, yeah, I'm like in like trying to get therapy and go to group things, and I'm having sex with my sponsor, and I got her pregnant. And you're like,
that was so interesting.
I was just like, what does this have to do with Danny? And then like at the end, they're just like, and then we go to Hong Kong together, and you're like,
what?
Okay,
yeah.
It seems like you should like what?
Yeah, and I'm like the whole.
He's like, I have responsibilities. He's like, no, you don't. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I guess you're right. I'm gonna go now. I'm like, yeah, no, he does.
It's so stupid to me because I'm like, what the hell is going on in this? Like, at no point, like, other than the fact that they were like kind of related, I'm like, how did these people stay in each other's lives? Joy clearly doesn't want to be there, but everyone apparently keeps showing up somehow.
No, I that part I bought because the only reason she was like she's always going to be connected to Dan because she wants to make him feel bad.
Yeah, and
so
Ward is always connected to Joy because basically they're like identical twins attached.
They're very close, but also I believe that they were friends before he got captured. Again, like the 10-year-old. So like you'd still be like, oh, I wonder what's going on with him on the Ward end of things. But like when Ward told Danny like, hey, let's all have a meal together and figure this out, I could see that being a thing that they're trying to figure this out. But again, their storylines are like kind of pulling away from each other, and I had no idea what the point of Typhoid Mary was.
Yeah, I honestly I don't. I'm just like, okay, she was kind of interesting,
but they didn't like.
But
she didn't have powers.
I don't care about the powers. I really don't.
What I'm saying is,
what I care about is the fact that you have a mental disorder that is clearly. It should be affecting your ability to do your job as an assassin, but apparently you're a really good assassin and better than Danny Rand, and he beat a friggin' dragon. And and then Colleen all of a sudden is
so.
Like,
this is what I'm saying. You say you don't care about the powers, but I feel like she would need powers to beat someone like that.
No, I care about the inconsistencies of the show.
Well, this is what I'm saying. If you give her powers, you erase some of those inconsistencies.
True, absolutely.
So
it makes it seem like your it makes it seem like their multiple personality disorder is the power. I'm like, that's not a power.
It's not a
power.
What
the hell?
So this is what I'm saying. Like these shows, and I think Jessica Jones season 2 suffered from this too. Is they want it to be this drama, which is fine, but like. Why are we playing in a comic book world then? Like, if all you want to do is have these real life stories of these real people doing real things,
it's true.
Like, Iron Fist is not the property to be doing real life things with real life people.
Jessica Jones is the property to do that for. She's the best property to do that for. I think Luke Cage is a good property to do that for.
You could do it with pretty much anyone else other than the guy who fought a mystical dragon.
Yeah. And like Daredevil is kind of interesting to do that for because of the fact that I'm like, okay, your powers is to sense things, but also your character is inherently flawed, and you've got this Catholic like dogma behind it. I'm like that guilt part is really interesting to me. I like it. Let's
all these characters have a hook except for Danny Rand.
Danny Rand should not be the one.
He's just like I was in Kunlun, and you're like, yeah, I know.
Cool.
I mean, who cares?
And I have this fist that glows up.
Oh yeah, and they tried to do this thing where he's like, it was the weirdest delivery where he was talking to Colleen, and he's just like, yeah, the thing I like most in the world isn't even you. It's the Iron Fist. I was like, what the hell is happening in this show? He's like, I don't really like you. I love the Iron Fist though, but do you want it? Because
powerful.
It ruined me, so you can have it. It'll probably ruin you.
It was weird because it's like I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make it seem like this is like a metaphor for heroin or a drug addiction or something like that. But you're not doing it well enough to actually make me believe it because your actor sucks. And the wording sucks. It's like
it was written poorly.
Yeah, it was so poorly.
I don't know. I mean, yes, I'm sure there's actors that could have pulled that off. But I would always stump up against him. You're telling your girlfriend that your power means more to you than her. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that dynamic in even if like it was someone like Batman, you just know like, oh yeah, that guy doesn't care.
So I've seen
he cares about his crew side.
Yeah. But I've seen that dynamic in the sense where it's established that, this means the most to this person. But
No,
right
I'm
off-
saying
right
like
off the
even in
bat.
Iron Man, where we know that he's obviously like it's really important to him to have these suits.
Yeah.
When he's talking to Pepper, he's not like, yeah, no, these are more important. He's like, no, you're important.
Yeah.
And then that plays into the conflict because you know he's not telling the truth, but you want to know how he's. But like to just flat out be like, no, this is more important.
So I actually I find the delivery weird. I don't find the concept weird because I'm like, okay, if you respect the fact that Kunlun, this monk kind of thing, this culture that has created, like, no, if you're the Iron Fist, you have to treasure that for like that kind of vow and all that kind of stuff. Sure, what he says to her is fine and everything like that, but the whole idea of like the delivery is horrible. That scene was just awful, and then it's just like, I can't take it. You have to take it. You have to give her a reason why. And then the reason why has to be something like, oh, it's because you have the best intentions and everything like that. But last season she was like with the hand the entire time, so no, she doesn't have the best intentions. She was purely one of those people that was like, the ends justifies the means, and now I'm wrong. I learned that, and now I'm going to back off, which is why I liked her more this season. But then Danny would be like, no, you're the person that should be taking the Iron Fist because you're literally a 14-year-old child with the innocence of a 14-year-old child. So why are you rejecting it? It's because, oh, right, you're a 14-year-old child that's afraid of responsibility, which is stupid. It's so stupid, the whole thing. I'm just like, why would you be the Iron Fist in the first place then?
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the concept that's weird.
It's so weird.
I don't think it's...
Because
I mean,
like,
yes, delivery, but that's on Finn Jones. I'm saying the concept is weird because he's not saying you're more worthy. He's like, I don't want this anymore. You do it.
Yep.
That's a weird concept. And also, if it's the most important thing to you, but you're also like, no, but you do it. I don't want to do this.
Clearly it's not.
It's a weird concept. I think if you actually start picking it apart, you'll just be like, it doesn't matter who delivers it. That's a weird concept.
It's so weird.
And I think the show just... I don't know, man. What a weird waste of time.
Typhoid Mary just didn't make sense to me the entire season. I'm just like, oh, you're there to connect the tissues together.
No, she wasn't though. She was just there to like.
Was
they
there to
were
do a
like
job.
holding on to her so that she could get him his powers back or something. I don't remember. Like she
was.
wasn't a
she was
villain
basically-
really.
yeah,
she was just like
hired,
no, like
she was hired Gunn. That was it. And then it was like, okay, you're here to get Davos's powers, and once that happens, then I have no use for you. But then she did admittedly have that scene with Joy, where it's like, oh no, I'm not done with you. Your social power, your all that kind of stuff. This is not like we're not done here. Like when Joy tries to hire her,
joke's
fire
on
her,
them. It is done.
Yeah.
The show is canceled.
Yeah.
But I think. Yeah, I was just like, oh, so there's going to be like a love triangle with her. Nope, not interested in that.
Not happening there.
Which is fine. We don't need that. But I just thought, like, so there's no point to her, really, other than, like, no, we got a DID person in the show.
Yep.
And you're like, okay.
Yep.
I don't know. I felt like they didn't improve on anything.
No,
there was no market improvement. I mean, you said that you thought the fighting was better, which, again... I think that's subjective because I didn't have an issue with the fighting in the first one.
I
other
still
than, like,
think
he's
Daredevil
bad.
fighting is better, just because those like 2 long shot fight scenes were just like the most brutal.
Daredevil has
thing.
the best fighting. There's
for sure out of these Netflix shows. But
Yeah.
personally, I feel like the CW, like that
those
fight
first
choreographer-
couple of seasons of Arrow had amazing fight.
Yeah.
That's what kept me going. I was
Exactly.
like, wow, this is good.
the Arrow fight
And I
scenes
think
were
the
just,
last
like,
crossover
really
they
legit.
did had some great. Or no, not the last one. The one before the last
Questions
one
on
had.
Two Earths, the one that they did.
No, not that one. The one where like the aliens took over their head, so they were living in there. Like I thought that had great fight.
Yeah, there was
fights
one
because
really
they did
good
the Deathstroke
long-
one. They
yeah.
did, like
There was one really good long.
the Arrow
shot
team knows how to fight or shoot fights.
Yeah,
on a
because-
budget.
Yeah, well, I mean, because the Vancouver like I think I know some of the fight choreographers. So and they've done stuff for Heroes and all that kind of stuff. And like he's a legit good martial artist and all that kind of stuff. He's got a good business,
Right?
And like it makes sense because I know that guy. But like on the Netflix side of things, I'm like, I don't. You should go work for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like you
Well,
shouldn't
no,
because
it
it
probably
would
would've
ruin
been good.
your reputation.
And
as,
also,
like, a fight
if you got a
choreographer.
job on Iron Fist, you'd be out of a job now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you'd probably still go back to.
Yeah, there was no improvement on him as a person. There was no.
It was season 1 reskinned.
there's no improvement on Colleen. Really, I to be fair, I checked out of the whole like I have no idea what was going on with her like mother's memento or whatever.
I didn't care about that at all.
I didn't check out because it was her. I checked out because the show I was like, is this another thing I have to think about that has nothing to do with what's going on?
Yeah.
You know?
The most weird, okay, so and this is the funny thing is like I never took Davos seriously ever.
He was way better in the first season.
He was way better than the first season. This season, I'm just like, oh, you're just gonna be a moody little bitch the entire season.
He did have sex with that woman for no. I thought that was gonna like they were gonna blackmail her. Did they end up doing anything with that? It seemed like nothing happened with that.
I don't remember.
It was just a thing that happened.
Here's another thing. So you remember the first 4 episodes I watched? I like marathoned. So I was like illegally under the influence of pot. And then Wednesday, and then this episode is coming up. So I'm like, oh shit, I got to finish watching this season. So Wednesday and Thursday, I very legally was smoking a pot and watching this. So there was no connective tissue there whatsoever. But also the fact that I'm just like, good, I don't care. It's going to be great. Like, I don't know who liked the show. Honestly, it was just a mess.
I'm sure, well, the people who liked season 1 probably like this.
Oh my God. But then, who are those people?
They're out there.
And like, the people that are like, oh, I've been dying my whole life to see an Iron Fist on cam. I'm like, I get that. You probably do. You probably love it that much. But is this the Iron Fist that you wanted?
Who knows?
Like, that's my question to them. The people that are Iron Fist fans, is this the Iron Fist show that you wanted?
I think before we recorded, I was trying to get at the fact that I don't care about Iron Fist, like one way or the other. It's not like, oh, this is a character I don't like. I just do not have an opinion on him.
I think it's
so really like it had all the opportunity to win me over because I don't have anything invested in him. Yeah, but I just there's nothing here for me to like.
Yeah. So to me, this character was kind of like Black Panther to me in a way. It's a character I didn't know too much about. I didn't care too much about. I didn't have that attachment, not the same attachment that I do to like Spider-Man or something like that. Like I love Spider-Man, but I just didn't know about it. And then I watched, and same thing with Guardians. I just didn't know about that character, that cast, and everything like that. But these are characters that I got turned on to because the execution was so good. Iron Fist could have been the same way, and it could have been so much more too because of the whole fact that I'm like, hey, all right, this is going to be like Kung Fu, but in a comic book setting, which is cool to me. And then like you have like a primarily Asian cast, which is like it's not important. It's not super like I don't need that because I grew up with Hong Kong cinema and all that kind of stuff. It's not one of those things where it's like, when was the last time you saw an Asian person do like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm like, cool. They're going to be on TV, but not be belittled with like shitty accents or whatever. Right. Which is something that I still do enjoy about this season. It's like, oh, okay.
They don't have like, they're not like Mystic and
yes, exactly.
You're just seeing like business owners and like gangsters be like, no, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, so they're not leaning into like stereotypes to sell this show to do whatever. I'm like, it was awesome to me. That was so good. But then you get the execution. You're like, I just don't want this to be associated with any of this. This is horrible.
Misty Knight was in this season. That was nice.
She was like a really great part of this season.
She's really good.
I
just think she's a great actress because I loved her season 1 of Luke Cage, loved her season 2, and I'm glad she got multiple episodes in this, and that they really pushed the Colleen and Daughters of the Dragon stuff. Yeah. That is all good.
That episode was really, really good. Like she
when they have to go save
bionic arm now. Absolutely. Yeah. And I've always liked the Colleen and Misty Knight dynamic that they've always had. Like when she loses her arm and like she trains with her and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, that was a cool thing to see. I've always liked that dynamic. So like every time Colleen and Misty were on screen together chasing down the Dragon's sisters or daughters, the Tattooists or whatever, I was like, this is cool. I really like watching this. But anytime Colleen was doing anything else, I'm just like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
I feel bad because I don't know if it's the writing, I don't know if it's the acting, but I just don't take her Colleen serious.
She was much better in season 1.
Yeah, she was.
I think the more I'm thinking about the show, the more I'm like, I have no idea what they were trying to get at with their relationship. And when she's like, I don't teach anymore, and you know why. So if you make me teach you, then you know what you're giving up. But then, like, it seemed like he wasn't clear on whether or not they were together still. Yep. And it didn't really seem like they wanted to commit to her being like, yeah, we're not together anymore. And then he broke things off with her, and I was like, what is happening? I thought I thought the unspoken understanding was if I teach you, we're broken up, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And so she's just spinning her wheels unless she's doing like actively, like I'm working with Misty to find out where Danny is. She just spins her wheels for the whole show, and you're just like.
But the funny thing is, she spins her wheels on the relationship, and I get why, because it's just like, do I want to be involved with a guy that's so immature?
I didn't get that.
Really,
I got that she wanted to be in it. She just was like, you need to be better because you are
it's one
abusing
of those
the Iron
relationships.
Fist stuff.
Yeah, no, it's one of those relationships where it's like, I like you, but you gotta fucking get your shit together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think she questioned the relationship. I think he just kept giving her reasons for her to be like, I shouldn't be in this, but they didn't want to like. They didn't have time to get into that because you still needed to deal with Joy and Ward's stuff.
Yeah, and
which they split up, so you can't even like. You can't even consolidate their stuff because they weren't speaking to each other this season. So you were like, okay, so we're going in a different direction even more.
And then it was it never really converged well.
No,
because like when usually the season is doing that, it's like, oh, everyone's doing their own thing. They will find a way back to each other and converge at like toward the end of the. It didn't even do that.
So this is what I like about the first episode of Daredevil, where you do a lot of Matt Murdock stuff.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, all right, cool, back in the groove, get it.
Yep.
And then they just completely cut to this South Asian family, and I'm like, what is happening here?
Right.
I'm like, but you end up like really liking this family, and you notice this guy like works, I think, for the FBI or CIA. I don't remember. And he's like, I need a promotion because he's been paying for his sister-in-law's like cancer treatment, and he's like, they're like, you're never gonna get a promotion. Your FICO score sucks. And he's like, yeah, but you know why? And they're like, sorry, get your and you're like, what is happening? We're just off on this tangent, and then you realize he's the guy that has to always interact with Kingpin while he's in jail, and he's just like, man, they told me to talk to you, but I already know you're gonna tell me to eat shit. Like, let's just get and. I'm not going to get into the Kingpin stuff, but he's like, no, I'm ready to make a deal. And you're like, okay, I get it. This guy who's clearly desperate and Kingpin who's clearly desperate are going to start working together now, and I see how that will play into what Daredevil. But, like, they got that across in one episode. This
it took a whole season, and we're still like, what the fuck is wrong with
like,
show?
For Iron Fist, I'm just like, they're just spinning off all these people, and I don't see how this is all going to work together.
To me, it feels like the Arrested Development season where they're like, each episode is going to focus on a different character and there's going to be overlap and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In concert, and that was like an execution thing, like the schedule.
But like we knew that ahead of time, whereas this is like, and they had the benefit of like us liking them for 3 seasons ahead of time.
Yes.
So you would be able to be like, fine, I would watch a spin-off of this. No one really liked season 1 of Iron Fist, so you can't really like sacrifice development of like who I would say are your 2 main characters, and Colleen and Danny, for like spinning off more people.
Because the thing with this, the issue with this now is that I was expecting a 13 episode season, and
I'm still glad it wasn't.
I was happy that they did 10.
Yeah,
but when I was like 10 ended, and I was grinding on Destiny, and I watched that ridiculous final scene where he used the Iron Fists to heat up the guns to shoot the bullets at the bullet that's coming at him. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
When I saw it on Instagram, like basically the day it came out, I didn't obviously. I was like, oh, like I knew that would be the last scene, but I thought maybe like he would do more cool things with it. I thought it was just his hands making bullets, and I was like, oh, okay, like he could just do cool things.
You mean like just literally Joe Biden finger guns and like
like I thought maybe like he could do cool like they would do more of a Green Lantern, like he can do things with. I didn't realize like it was just going to be
manipulate the chi around him or something like that.
I thought that picture was indicative of like him getting more creative, and I'm like, oh, it literally is just the last scene. He's never been creative with it, just in that one moment.
That's the most ridiculous thing. You know the most ridiculous thing, too, is just like, okay, so you're telling me that you can imbue items with your Iron Fist skills, but you literally...
Also, how did he get it back? Sorry to cut you off.
I don't know how he got it back.
She still has it, he still has it.
Yeah. I'm just like, so wait, she has it and you have it. So does that mean she's got the evil Iron Fist? That one that Davos has? And
no, because hers is white. Good? His was red, hers is white, and his is yellow.
Oh, god damn it.
So it's all different. Anyway, sorry, you were talking
about... I thought that
about...
was stupid, too. It was like, what color was his fist? I'm just like... what? Like, so you're seeing the same ridiculous things that we are seeing right now. Like, what the hell?
I took that as more like, did he have a glowing fist or was it just normal? Like, I think he wanted confirmation that he had the Iron Fist.
Sure. I don't know. Whatever. At that point, I just suspended all thought, and it was just like, I guess I'm just gonna watch the rest of this season. I don't. Yeah, I have to. This is dumb. I don't want to. Yeah, it was horrid. They should just have a show of Ward and Joy.
Yeah, we said that. Here, I think
that's the only thing.
If we watched this right when it came out, maybe I would feel better about it because you're like, oh, this could have gone somewhere. That would be your initial, and then you'd know, oh, it's not going anywhere. That's
it definitely
too bad.
Kills it. That like I watched the last 6 episodes.
But going in knowing that it's done,
canceled.
You're like, oh.
Oh, it's so defeating. You're just like, now I got to find confirmation bias for why it got canceled, and like it's not hard to find. It's not like, oh, was it this? Was it? It was literally, this show sucks. These are some good characters, but ultimately there's no good showrunner here. They didn't figure out what this show is all about.
No,
they're like, okay, guys, it's okay. To me, it's like, we're making a show. It's called Iron Fist. Cool. Has anyone read the comic? Nope. Let's have fun. Let's do this.
And as I said, I've never read a comic. I've read Heroes for Hire stuff, and he's a sidekick in that. So I don't know anything about him. I kind of knew Kunlun. I had no idea about how he got the Iron Fist. Yeah. So maybe all of that stuff being referenced, like when you listen to someone like Kevin Smith, he's like, I love Batman vs. Superman for just the mere fact that they said Paradium, or that I saw Paradium, and it's like, maybe like if you're such a like deep cut person with this thing, like hearing that like out loud is invigorating, and like fair enough. Like,
but that's just like, oh, a nostalgia check.
Yeah, but that's I mean, that's it, right? Like the people like hearing that stuff out loud and being like, it's out there in the zeitgeist now.
I guess. Because, like, I will admit that anytime a movie says the name of a movie in the movie, I like it way much more. Like,
for me,
in Rush Hour, they're like, forget it, guys, it's Rush Hour. I'd be like, yes. Yes.
I still don't know why those movies are called Rush Hour. Other than in the first movie, she got kidnapped during Rush Hour. It made no sense that the whole series would be called Rush Hour. Rush Hour never plays into it, other than the first movie.
There was something that was never conceptually established. It was like, why? It's not like Speed, where you're like, I understand why the movie's called Speed.
For me, I like...
Rush Hour is like, why is it called Rush Hour? It's so dumb.
For me, I like when people say Daniel in movies, not Danny. So Daniel, I'm like, nice, that's my name.
Yeah.
I like if it references Toronto in any way, I'm like, nice, I live there.
Yeah.
I
do those things too. I'm like,
if they say Guyana, I'm like, yeah, good, that's where my family's from. Yeah. I like that. But other than that, like even with Batman stuff, I'm just like, no, just show me this stuff. I want to actually see it. I don't care about like lip service. I don't care if you just show me a second of it. I want a full deep dive.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I know that people really like the idea of these things that they grew up with or they've invested in being.
Listen, I get that.
Like, yeah, so I can see how there's fans of it. I think for us, since we don't care, it's easier to be like, well, this is just not a good show or not well done show, and so none of that other fan service stuff, like constantly hinting at the dragon or the mention of Kunlun. I mean, they show it in brief things. Yeah. None of that will help sway us because that's not something we put any stock in.
No, and it's a stupid power.
It isn't a stupid power. It's an amazing power. If he used it, like, but they took it away from him for most of this season. So you're just like, oh, you're just a whiny kid then. Yeah. Like,
You're a whiny kid that doesn't actually want it back.
When he broke his hand and broke his leg, they did do a Dark Knight Rises thing where he's like, no, I got a super healing thing on my knee. It'll be fine.
Yeah, they did.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got a Rand Industries.
But it was at least it was consistent with the whole like, oh, so you don't have any technology that can heal your arm, but you have this amazing bionic cyborg arm to just give away to Misty Knight. At least that was consistent. Yeah. But I was just like, okay, but this is sure.
The one thing he did that was good was when Davos came to that like rec center that they were at, which I'm sorry if that was a plot point. I was checked out. Yeah. I did not know what was going on there, but he came there and then Danny pretended to be still injured, and I was like, nice. Because at first I was like, wait, is he still injured? Was I not paying attention, or is he pretend? No, he's pretending. Good.
Yeah.
I like that because I was just like, that's the kind of stuff I like when the hero like. I mean, for elements of the show, it was like, well, I don't have the same power, so I'm gonna have to find ways to outsmart him. I'm like, okay, good. Like, get creative.
Yeah.
But that seemed like to be the only time that he did something like that. I know Colleen did some creative things.
Colleen did some very
she had to
creative
fight everyone outside of the rec center.
Yeah. It was funny to me because I'm just like, that whole like Asian kid leading the gang thing, that inner city gang.
Yeah.
I was just like, this
I
is
really had no idea what it was.
Shitty.
Were they not axes or tigers? Like I felt like there was
they were axes or tigers
because they were just under Davos, right?
Yes. They were just like literally kids that were like, we're just making ends meet. And we live in this like
okay, yeah, because that's the first episode of like,
Yeah.
you can't hit this place. It's under the tiger's protection or whatever.
Yeah, and then they're like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh.
Again, another thing I wasn't really paying attention
Yeah,
to.
I was just like, every time those kids came on, I'm like, why is this a thing? I don't care about this. And then Davos is like, I can teach you all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, then do that. Like, and then they weren't loyal to him or really. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? What is going on?
Well, there was no way I thought they would
dumb
ever be loyal to him because they all like
They're all
if they're willing to like hit a place knowing that it's under some like established gangs thing,
Yeah.
then clearly they're not going to just like, oh yeah, you that just came out of nowhere and not even paying us, you're gonna teach us. Again, it was just a wasted storyline.
I also feel like the finale of the season is really interesting to me because it was like at that point I had tuned out so much, but like the whole triad war thing. Oh, now everyone's got balance. It's not ideal, but you know, like you guys have this business, you guys have this business, you guys have this business. Leave
they did a
everyone
Luke
alone.
Cage. I get it.
So they did the Luke Cage kind of thing, and I'm just like, but your last show did the exact same thing. Why wouldn't? And it's very unrealistic for me to expect a character like Danny Rand being so immature to not have a more naive goal to be like, let's get rid of all crime, as opposed to being like, no, we have to be realistic and like balance.
Well, that's
the
the
crime.
beginning. He thought he was going to get rid of all crime at the beginning of, and that's
he
his
did.
arc.
And
it's just
yeah.
not a well done
No, it's a terrible
show.
Yeah.
So like, that's not. I understand that you saying all those things. I understand that what they thought was happening was that the audience would see that he has grown up and realizes he needs to make this compromise. I'm not saying it was done well. I'm just saying
That's what
you
they
just
were
put
trying
that in my head right now by actually explaining all that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I see the story arc that they thought they were getting across.
Yeah, that's just it's awful. Whatever.
Yeah, it could have been better.
It-
Could it? I don't know. It seems like
think
he's
it
just
could have
not
been
a
better.
likable character.
He's not a
Like,
relatable
sorry.
character.
I like him when he shows up. Anytime he was with Luke Cage, I liked Danny
Yes.
Rand. In Defenders, I liked him in Luke Cage.
Because I
the
liked
fact
it.
that they kept him separate, I don't get.
Yeah.
Maybe they'd already committed to that by the time they started the season.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they don't cross over. It isn't like the Avengers where all these people are headstrong people that don't
Get
that
along
would
with
would
other
never
people.
want to interact because they think they're the star. They're literally in the same like block.
Yeah.
Daredevil's dead, or for the purposes of this season, Daredevil's dead. Everyone, I understand that.
Yeah.
But like, if Misty's coming over, like, why? I guess they, you know what? I take it back. Jennifer or Jessica Jones was the only person who could have shown up because
Yeah.
Luke Cage is tied up in Harlem doing his club stuff.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
So,
Daredevil's
but the
dead.
thing is, yeah, but I mean, it is Manhattan and it's Rand Industries. Anyways, the biggest issue I have is like obviously now because they canceled Luke Cage and they canceled Iron Fist.
Yes,
I think
let's
that
get
they're
into
gonna
the
do-
Heroes for Hire stuff.
I think they're going to do Heroes for Hire, which is much more successful because I feel like we don't have the numbers for this, and it's purely speculation. But the most enjoyed episode I had of Luke Cage was when Danny Rand showed up, and it's not because I like Danny Rand; it's just because I like the idea of you have someone so naive working with someone so pessimistic that it works really well because it's an odd.
But
couple
also,
kind of
I just
thing.
like them together. Like they seem like they genuinely get along.
Yes, they do.
It's
So
nice
a
to
good
not
chemistry.
have like this like grumpy. Like, it's what we like about Colleen and
Yes.
Misty being together is that they like being around each other, and so they bring up stuff like, you know, I'm starting to realize you're my only friend, and I barely know you. Like
Yeah.
they're having like these moments of levity. It doesn't have to be jokes. It's just a nice to like insight into
agree.
themselves. So like that's what works with Luke and like when I said in Defenders where it was like everyone's making fun of Danny until Luke is like, fine, man, I'll actually sit down and listen to you. Like, that's like a nice moment for Luke to be like, all right, like, this kid is like trying to help us.
Yeah.
Like, I might as well just be like, hear him out. Like, that's a nice moment. And then when Danny comes to be like, no, like, you're my friend, I'm not gonna let anyone mess with you. I was like, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I agree. And you know, honestly, I feel like if they did Heroes for Hire, it'd be so much better. But they're not going to do that, I don't think.
I thought you just said you think they are doing Heroes.
I thought, what I would like them to do. I don't think they're going to do it.
It could be on the Disney streaming service. I don't know if it'll be on Netflix.
Because
and
the
in
thing
which
is,
case, I don't know if they're just going to recast.
Because they've said, like, Iron Fist is going to continue, but not in its own show, so maybe it's going to
maybe they're doing
for, like,
Defender
guest
Season 2?
stars, or they're not going to do Defender Season 2. It just was underwhelming. It just didn't work out well.
Honestly, it wasn't
necessary.
like, I didn't think it was worse than Iron Fist, and Iron Fist got a second season.
It's true.
And if most of the complaints are why aren't they crossing over, you might as well try it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're Netflix and you're like, we want to keep these properties, I would try crossing over again.
Yeah. Because Netflix did say, like, we're very happy with them, and then canceled.
We're going to cancel half of them, but we like them.
Well, I mean, not half. The Punisher Season 2.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It came close to half.
Yeah.
Because there's 3.
Canceled,
I mean, there's 5.
40% of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows what will happen, because I thought there was a huge drop-off from Jessica Jones Season 1 and 2. So who knows?
I think there's a huge drop-off there,
Who
too.
knows what Season 3 will bring.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe
Whereas,
a little bit more cohesion.
As far as I'm concerned right now, Daredevil just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
So,
And I think Daredevil's a winner. They're just going to keep going with Daredevil.
obviously, we all know that I'm mad that he's back in his black suit, but
Yep.
what are you going to do about it?
But
Nothing.
there looks like to be a good reason for it this season. So I'm pretty happy with
It's a
that.
good reason that he starts off with the black suit. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that much.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't get that red suit back until the last episode again, you're going to hear about it next episode.
Yeah, because it's going to be bullshit. Because we know the guy that's in the red suit that's imitating Daredevil is Bullseye. So you're just like, well...
Is it implied or known?
I'm pretty sure it's well known.
No, I'm saying we know because we read into it. But is the commercial confirmed that's Bullseye?
Oh,
or
no,
is
it doesn't.
just
No, the commercial I don't
everyone
think confirms.
it just has inferred that that's Bullseye.
I think
because we
everyone's
know that
inferred.
Bullseye has been cast.
And in that story arc is pretty important.
Yeah.
I think everyone's inferred it. I don't think the trailer promotional material
Because
has confirmed it.
don't get me wrong, I'm not like, that's not Bullseye. I know it's Bullseye, but I just wanted to, like, people made it seem like there was another shot of him that confirmed he was Bullseye.
In the trailers? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't...
That
I'm
was
not
the
sure.
reaction I was saying. I was like, wait, so is he anything other than just in that Daredevil
Mm-hmm.
suit? Which, I get it. He's using projectiles and hitting people right on. I get that he's Bullseye. I just was like, I feel like we're all inferring smartly so, but like, we're not, there's nothing there that's obviously saying he's Bullseye.
I don't think...
I think
from
the
the
show still
trailers,
wants to
yeah.
have that as a surprise.
Yeah, I guess so. Or like... Because I think that'll like come to play when they go into his like army history
Right.
and be like, oh yeah, they had a nickname for him, like kind of like
Bullseye.
how Killmonger, like
Killmonger.
how Killmonger had like
Yeah,
his like name was not Killmonger. It's like, no, my name is Eric. They just gave me the nickname Killmonger.
Yep. I can see that.
Like I like that version of like if someone was like, call me this, I'm like, that's weird, man. You gave yourself a name. You can't
Yep.
do that. It's media that has to give you a name.
So yeah, not a great season.
No.
We didn't talk about Typhoon Mare because it was not that
It's not
well
worthy.
implemented.
No.
I'm sure they thought they were going to have another season to work with her, but I think that they need to stop operating on, we'll just get another season of this. Just tell. I'm not saying you need to tell the story that ends everything. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, there should be, like, a reasonable conclusion to everyone's arcs.
I agree.
Within a season.
I agree.
And then you come back, especially in this Netflix format, when you've got a reason to come back and tell another story.
Yep. Just didn't. Typhoid Mary, there's not much to talk about. Didn't have the powers of the comics. Wasn't very intriguing. Every time she was on screen, I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
what's going to happen here? I didn't like the idea that some of her personalities knew about other personalities.
Well, there's
but
only
then there
3.
was one that hid.
So they only ever were like, she's got 2 personalities, and then at the end she finds out there was the third one that saved them from the thing.
Yeah.
So that, and I get that that's supposed to be the Bloody Mary
Yeah.
personality, but
They never really go into
What?
that.
Yeah, because that would, I guess, involve getting into her powers. And
I guess that was
they
were trying to actually, like, oh, we'll leave this for season 3, guys, and she'll be the big bad then. You'll be sorry.
Except for that, I never was like, oh man, it's gonna suck when she has to go against her friend Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I was just like, no, she just seems like a loose cannon that will fight
she's-
anyone.
Yeah, she's just a hired gun. I just don't. She's whatever. It's not.
All right, let's rate this season. I guess. I don't know, 3. Who knows?
This is a 2.
I wish I could be more positive about it because I know that that's kind of the direction we should be in, like being just a little more positive in this world where everyone gets shouted at on social media. But there's nothing really here to get positive about.
I'm okay. So,
like, I thought we were pretty fair with Venom about pointing out what worked about it.
very fair with that. We didn't even talk about that plot hole, that old lady in the symbiote for 6 months or whatever. But either way, the saddest thing about Luke Cage and Iron Fist being canceled, if they don't bring back a Heroes for Hire, is the fact that Misty Knight probably won't be in anything else. I really
that sucks.
Unless
I mean,
they say we're going to do a Misty
I hope
Knight
they
show.
do Daughters of the Dragon. Like,
Yeah.
I hope that
If
that's
they
the next show.
If they do a Misty Knight show, I'm totally down because at that point they can approach that. Oh, we're gonna do we're gonna take a comic book character that doesn't have to be like superpowers or anything like that, but like and then show everyday struggles in a police station. I think that is cool.
No, I wouldn't watch it. I hate police procedurals. I would want the Daughters of the Dragon aspect so that it, like, takes her out. And what I liked about her was her conflict about, like, I'm a good cop, but also I'm being introduced to this world where, like, you can't just be a good cop. You have to kind of play outside of that. That's what I think is interesting. So if it's just a show about her being a good cop, I'm done with that.
Well, no, struggling about being a good cop. Now that she has all these powers, but I mean, like it's rehashing the same idea that this season 1. But either way, I like I said, the only thing I'm upset about is the fact that
she's gone.
Yeah, that she's gone, and that Vincent Chase didn't take back his ex-wife.
Who's what?
From Entourage.
Oh yeah, Alice Eve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I see. I'm like,
I think
Vinny?
when I saw that, I was like, remember how the movie just starts with them already divorced?
Yeah.
Because she was like, there's no chance I'm doing this movie. I'm not even going to show up in the scene.
Yeah. It's just like, no, I'm not doing this. Well, why would I be in this?
I didn't know why she was in that season in the first place. Anyway.
It's dumb.
It seemed beneath her.
It was so dumb.
But then she also did this.
Yep.
So maybe nothing's beneath her.
Whatever.
Yeah. So that's a 3 from me and a 2 from you. And
I mean, like, I'm actually considering 1.
yeah, I mean, let's confirm it.
I'm doing 1. I'm doing 1. This is like the least watchable thing ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick at a 3 because I can't say that I hated it all the way. But
1 is harsh because I liked Misty Knight.
Yeah.
Okay, 2. I'll stay at 2.
Okay, 3 and a 2.
The Misty Knight stuff, I would say, is a 7.
Yeah, Misty Knight is great.
If we can rank her separately, 7.
If they are looking to continue working with her, I think that would be a smart idea.
I think that would be brilliant.
They should not lose that actress.
I think,
let's say her name because
let's do Heroes for Hire. They should do Heroes for Hire, but from her perspective, and that Luke Cage and Danny Rand are just background characters. That'd be fun. It's not.
You'd like that?
No, I wouldn't. I would not. That was just
okay.
Stupid.
Simone Missick is Misty Knight. She's a great actress. I want nothing but the best for her, and let's keep working with her on things, even if it's not in the Marvel universe. Netflix should get her involved in other things.
I agree.
All right, thank you very much for listening. This has been Spoiled Rotten, and we talked about Iron Fist season 2.
Check out our next episode.
In case you just walked into
Daredevil,
a room where
season
someone's
3.
listening to this, tell them to rewind to the beginning so you can listen to everything.
And how we shit all over this. So it was a fun episode because we got to shit all over it. But
Daredevil season 3 will be the next episode. Thank you very much to our home at thatshelf.com.
Yep.
And if you want to listen to older episodes, then go to tdfeverything.com/spoiledrotten. That's where you'll find all of our social media stuff. But please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, because that helps us and gets the word out. And just share this with a friend. If you're listening right now, just even no, just listen to the whole episode and then tell someone else about it, and then trick them like, oh, just listen to the first couple of seconds, but then just keep going. Oh, and then this happens and this happens, and then just everyone starts listening. Thank you very much.
Also, if you liked the season of Iron Fist, please,
let us know.
Please let us know why. Like, genuinely, I am curious as to.
Chances are I'm not going to like the reason, but
yeah,
it'll be an interesting experiment to see what the deal is.
Yeah.
So you'll email us at spoiledpodcast@gmail.com or find us on our social media, which I said is on the 2 sites that I've told you about, thatshelf.com and tdfeverything.com/spoiledrotten.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye.
This has been a TDF Everything production, brah.